here. I'm so happy that you stopped by. I hope that you're having just the most wonderful and beautiful day. So if you're trying to go plant-based or you're just trying to eat more plants, then this is the place for you. So thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope that you stick around. Today I'm bringing you into my morning as I prep for the next few days. I am making some chickpeas and a bit of components that I can throw into different types of meals. It is about 5 a.m. and I have about an hour and a half. So let's go on to prepping these items. I will show you later in the video how I make these into meals and give you some inspiration on what you can make as well. First thing we are going to need to do, because this takes the longest, we are going to be making some chickpeas. And if you saw a previous video, I'll link it down below, but I have recently gotten into the kick of making my own beans. I had actually been just using canned, which is great, but then I went back to using, dried beans because we had a lot of them, and there is no going back. I love dried beans and just cooking them myself. They just taste so much better. And I had totally forgotten, just because of the convenience of having canned beans, but we're going to be using these today. But hey, no shade on anybody who uses regular canned beans, because those are good too. Good morning, friends. So like I said, it is 5 a.m. at the time of filming this, and I cannot believe that I am waking up this early. It has been at this point about 2 weeks that I have been waking up early to prep my meals, do editing, or just have some time to myself. It has been super sweet, and I definitely feel very, very productive. And in the beginning it was hard, but now that I'm 2 weeks in, I really, really enjoy it, and there is no going back. So today for my morning, I decided to prep my food for the next few days. It would be for the week, but we go through beans and all this stuff like super fast, so it doesn't really last us so long. So this morning I decided that prepping some stuff would be a good idea. Moving on to the second thing, we are going to be making some couscous, and the trick that I found with this is to make it in my rice cooker. So we are going to add 1 cup of water and some vegetable broth, and you could do water. I just chose vegetable broth because that's what I had left over in the fridge, and I want to make sure that it doesn't go to waste. With couscous, you could do 1 cup of couscous to 1.5 cups of vegetable broth if you want it more savory or you want to add just more flavor to this. But you could also use water and it works just as well. I've done it before and it tastes so good too. Now that we have that in the rice cooker, we are going to move on to making some, I think they're like, what are they called? Let me see. They're called PB&J baked oatmeal slice, and this is going to be for my baby. So if you have kids, maybe you want to try making these bars for them. I want her to have something new this week to try, so we're going to make some of those. I'll link it down below as well in case you want to make it for yourself too, because I'm probably going to take a slice or two. It's pretty easy. It just calls, I think, for 4 ingredients, which is bananas, nut butters, and quick oats, and soy milk. So I'm excited to make these because these look delicious. So let's get to making this. But before we get on to making that, I need to get myself hydrated because I am thirsty. So we are going to make a daily greens drink from Compliment. Not an ad, but I just really enjoy their drink. It's like a lemonade. It's so refreshing. So we're gonna make that. That's so good. And you feel so much better after you drink this because you know that you drank your daily greens for the day. If you're looking for a daily greens powder that's not gross, that doesn't taste gross, because I've heard a lot of people say that a lot of like greens powders tend to taste like really gross or like just like very green, if that makes sense. But these don't. All right, but enough of me. Let's get on to finishing up what I need to do, because I am running behind. So let's go. Like I said, I'm going to be making the PB&J bars. These came out absolutely delicious, and me and baby loved them, and they were so sweet and just so flavorful and truly did taste like a PB&J. But I would say if you want it, just reduce the fat content. You could totally add less peanut butter, but trust me, you're gonna like these. These are so good. So for now, this is all we had time for. Actually, at this moment, it's 6:20 and Victor's about to get home from the gym, and he's gonna need to use the kitchen to prep like his stuff for work. So we're gonna have to take a little break. Man, now I'm kind of stuck. I wanted to make some like oats for like a mug cake oat kind of thing for my breakfast. That was gonna be my breakfast and I was gonna show you that. But now I'm stuck because now I don't have enough time to make the bake that I wanted to make. Okay. So we are going to make them. I'm gonna try. Victor might come in here at some point, but we're gonna try. The thing calls to use a blender. I don't want to add anything to a blender. Maybe that's gonna be, is that gonna come out wrong? Probably. Well, actually that seems pretty easy, much easier. So we're gonna do this. Alright, so hear me out here for this one. This was so good, but I had completely messed up and I did not fully read the blog post because it was just so long and you had to scroll to so much. And yeah, so I didn't read it, so I thought the portion sizes for this were going to be completely different. It turned out amazing. Definitely, I ended up changing up like the measurements of almond butter and all that stuff. I made a bigger batch because I thought this was way too small in my opinion. So I changed it up in the future, but for this day I did have this. Everything is listed down below in the description box, the recipe as well as the new recipe that I made where it makes a bigger batch that you'll see a little bit later. But it ended up tasting really good, so definitely do recommend it. It's delicious. We did it. Victor's not home yet, so that was pretty fast actually. So I'm gonna make this again. But I thought I was going to make actually a larger batch, but it's an independent little muffin. So I gotta see if I can find a thing to like put it in. This says oven safe and it's at 350, so it should be fine. Yeah, perfect. It's 350, so it works out. I have little containers. I managed to do this without my baby waking up, so that is awesome. And it says to add chocolate chips, so we're adding chocolate chips. You know those blog posts, like you don't like read the whole thing, but we got this. But it's okay, it might be super good. So this is breakfast for today. I'm just gonna throw it in there, in the oven. So Victor is coming back any minute now, and I want to make sure that I have the kitchen clean and that I have my caffeine for the day. For my coffee today, I'm going to have the stumped in cold brew coffee with oat milk. I'm going to add a splash of cinnamon, and I don't know, maybe I'll add an extra shot of espresso. Not sure yet. Okay. Okay. Well, y'all want to know something funny? So my little cupcake thing or mug cake thing is out of, it's done. And I was reading up on the instructions, and there's a specific name that those trays are called. Hold on. these little thingies, apparently all called ramekins. I've never heard of a ramekin before. Have you heard of a ramekin? Do you know what's a ramekin?
Oh my gosh, it's the little cups.
Even you know what they are?
Yes.
Okay, well I never heard of them, so I didn't know. It's a spray 2 ramekins. I didn't know what that was, so I just added it into one mini container. It doesn't change the taste of anything.
Wait,
it just means that the portions. Yeah, so the batter that I mixed was supposed to go in two ramekins.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
But I didn't know what a ramekin was, and I was like, and I saw the picture.
Yes.
And so it just looked.
Cups.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a ramekin. I didn't know that was a ramekin. I just thought like, oh, you just put it in a one little like mug thing. So that's what I did. So technically I'm having 2, but who just eats 1 for breakfast? So I'm gonna have the whole thing. Cause it's so tiny. Like, why would you want a tiny one? See? It's like so tiny. Like, how am I gonna divide this into 2? Like, no girl. I'm doing 1 ramekin. This is so good. Yeah, there's no way I could have just had one of these. I recommend this recipe. It's so good. I'm gonna link it down below for you if you want to try it. It feels like a dessert for breakfast. It feels like I'm eating like a chocolate cake. 10 out of 10 for me for this one. I just got back. I went to go drop off Victor at work because we have some errands to run, so we need to use the car, and we just use 1 car. So we are going to be making some hummus with those chickpeas. They're done. They've been sitting there for like about an hour and a half, just warm. So I'm gonna add some to a blender and add some spices. First I'm gonna be making my baby's, and hers is gonna have some olive oil, some nutritional yeast, some garlic powder, and some lemon. So let's make that, and then I'll show you how I do mine. So to make my baby's hummus, I add some chickpeas. I actually should have waited till they had cooled down, but I didn't think of that. I didn't think to do that. But I added some olive oil, some nutritional yeast, some garlic powder, and added some lemon too. I was going to be making some for me, but like I said, I ended up deciding not to because I realized I had some extra in the fridge. I threw in an ice cube because I heard that helps with making it blend smoothly, and that's it. An easy, quick hummus, and she loved it. Change of plans. I was going to be making my own hummus, but I just remembered that Victor had leftover little tiny containers of hummus, so it doesn't make sense for me to make my own. So we're gonna go with that. That saves me something extra that I have to do, but that is what I've prepped so far. Remember the baked oatmeal that I made just a few moments ago? Well, later on in the day, I ended up making it in a larger batch, changing up the measurements just because it was too high in fat, and I just wanted it, I didn't think it called for so much maple syrup, so I fixed it. Recipe is in the description. And I also made some roasted veggies because I just love my veggies. You gotta get your veggies in. So I made some veggies just roasted and some seasonings, made some tofu, some crumbled and some just in large pieces. And Victor loved the veggies and he loved the tofu. So what I decided to do was I had my chickpeas warmed up, and then I just threw in my veggies. I added some zucchini, broccoli, asparagus, carrots, bell peppers, all the things, just because you gotta get different colors of the rainbow. And look at that tofu, it just looks so good. Oh, I can taste it right now as I'm editing this. And I added some couscous to that. Yeah, couscous is so good. And just throw in your tofu. Never believe it, I topped it off with some soy sauce. I don't know why this combination, I wouldn't have thought of soy sauce, but it was actually really good. It was like the thing that was closest to me, so I went for that. This recipe is going to sound really weird at first, even for me. I was trying to figure out, I know you could obviously make couscous like lunches, dinners, savory things, but I thought, what if you mix couscous and make it kind of oatmeal style, where instead of oats, your base is the couscous. So that's what we are going to be making today. Obviously I did not use, or I'm not using the couscous that I initially made. This is like a couple days after that, after I filmed that. I made a new batch because yesterday I dropped my fresh couscous. I was so sad, but it went all over my floor. So I made a new batch just right now. It just finished cooking, and this one is just with water, so you won't get the veggie broth, which is great because you don't want an oatmeal to taste like veggie broth, because that's no fun whatsoever. That would be gross. So we're gonna mix that together, compile it, make it taste good, and then we'll do a taste test at the end. Now let's just go with the flow here and try to compile a delicious couscous breakfast bowl. Sounds weird because couscous, I think, is technically a type of pasta, but it works. Let me tell you, like, it works. And you can see like Leanie's little feet hanging there. But I added the couscous, I added some cinnamon powder, some soy milk, and I'm also going to slice up some strawberries and a banana for the top of it, adding in some maple syrup. And I was pleasantly surprised by this, and you will see a little bit later, which I will share. Yeah, it smells good. Okay, let's see. I just wanted to change it up. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of crepes. Weirdly enough, it tastes like crepes, and I love crepes. That's so good. Sometimes you just get tired of oatmeal but still want to have something nutritious and filling, and I think this one does that. So I'm gonna go eat this. And that is it for me today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you would like to see more videos like these, then please subscribe down below. If you have not already, I would ask that you hit the notification bell below, just so that you're notified whenever I post a new video. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video very, very soon. Bye!